developer in economic reporting. But most of all, I have to introduce you guys to Miss Ann. She is our leader. She is the powerhouse behind MCO Construction and the visionary founder.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is always an honor and a pleasure, Zakia, to be here with all of you. And I tell Jackie Perry all the time, if I were any better, I would be all of you put together. Yes, that's what I would be. But today is a little different because we are here with our family. We are here with all of the members of this phenomenal organization talking about how the benefits of the Congressional Black Caucus conference, meeting, whatever you want to call it, has been for so many of us. And so I would not take up any more time from this phenomenal podcast that we're getting ready to start. And I would just go ahead, as I always like to say, Zakia, let's get this party started, because I'm excited to hear from Georgie Howie, our president, Tylene Henry, and of course, the Woman of the Year, Dr. E. Let's get this party started.
I'm excited to hear from Howie, our president, and of course, the Woman of the Year, Dr. E. Let's get this party started. All right. There you have it. There's the word from Ms. Ann herself. We are going to take a very short commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to hear from our guest in the studio today, our very own Nabwic members. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Dina Neely. I'm a licensed electrical contractor. I'm founder and CEO of Detroit Voltage. I am a member of the Detroit chapter, and I kind of stumbled upon Nabwic, or was introduced to Nabwic early on when I first started my company, and it's really been a wonderful journey. I love being able to communicate with like-minded women. I mean, it's one thing to be a woman in construction, but it's a very unique thing to be a Black woman in construction. And being a part of this organization has really been helpful in helping to grow and navigate through growing a construction business. And of course, our fearless leader, Ms. Ann, she's always a wealth of knowledge, and being able to pull from her has been invaluable. And so one of the things that I'm super duper proud about being a woman in construction is having a part of the revitalization of my community and being able to take my children along for the journey. And again, my name is Dina Neely, and I celebrate women in construction.
All right. As I mentioned in this episode of Nabwic Talk, today we're going to be recapping Nabwic's exciting and impactful strategic meeting and our Congressional Black Caucus reception that was held in Washington, D.C. We're joined by special guest Georgie Howard of Nabwic D.C. area chair, Dr. E, South Florida chapter representative at Nabwic's reception. And President Tylene Henry. Together, we will share the success from the strategic meeting, insights from the VIP reception, and Congressman Hank Johnson, and highlights from the main reception with over 4,000 attendees. We'll also discuss the various events and seminars held at DC Convention Center and a special visit with the Department of Commerce and the MBDA. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to our very own Jackie Perry, and she is going to have a conversation with our guest. Jackie?
Thank you, Zakia, and I am so excited to be here on this wonderful Wednesday. And as they have already said, we have a different kind of show today. It's with family, and I'm so excited to welcome again our special guest, Miss Georgie Howie, who is all of these these are Nabwic members and Nabwic leaders. But we have Ms. Georgie Howie, of course, who is in the DC area. We have Dr. Eve, as we refer to her as, who is in our South Florida chapter, and we are so excited and privileged that she's with us as the president, Ms. Colleen Henry. Now, I'm going to allow each of them to introduce themselves, but as Zakia has already said, we just came back from an extraordinary, exciting week down in Washington, D.C., where Nabwic and its members had an opportunity to help set the strategic direction of the organization, while at the same time having the opportunity to advocate and support important policy and legislation that impact women everywhere, but especially women in construction. So we did so many things, and hey, couldn't be down in DC at the time of the Congressional Black Caucus and not party. So we're going to talk about a little bit of what we did to celebrate as well. But let's go ahead and head over and let's hear from our special guests directly. We're going to have each of them introduce themselves, starting with our president, Ms. Colleen Henry. If you could just tell us who you are, what you do, and where you're from, and that'll be followed by Ms. Georgie and Dr. E. Go ahead, Colleen.
Thank you so much, Jackie, and just want to give so much thanks and appreciation to our entire marketing and Blog Talk team for making this happen. Blog Talk Radio is a phenomenal opportunity for our community as well as the world at large to learn more about what's impacting Black women in construction and the strides that we continue to make to advocate for equitable contracting opportunities for Black women in construction, training opportunities for our community, and as well equitable social, entrepreneurial, and networking relationships. My name is Tyson Henry, and I am honored to serve as the president of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. I am also the owner of Human Services, LLC, which is a certified BBE and MBE business and professional development consulting firm. We build sustainable businesses and communities, and the work that we do within Nabwic is definitely in alignment with what my passion is, and that's alleviating socioeconomic disparity. And we are very clear that it's not just about the money. It's a lack of equitable access to ideas, resources, and relationships. And so I am just incredibly honored to serve amongst such a phenomenally accomplished and experienced group of women on our board. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to be here with Dr. E and Georgie as well. Dr. E, who is our woman and member of the year, who has just brought such great value and advancement for the organization of our board and our committee. And so we're just so fortunate to have such incredibly talented women willing to serve and support the advancement of this incredible mission and vision that has been put before us by our phenomenal and illustrious founder, Ms. Candace Neal. And so again, I'm just appreciative to be here, and I'm looking forward to participating in the conversation.
Well, thank you, Colleen, and we can't say enough about your leadership in our Nabwic organization. It has been phenomenal this year, and we're going to have you share a little bit more about some of that impact as well. So, and one of the things I did fail to mention is that Georgie Howie, along with Dr. E, all of these are leaders on our Nabwic executive board, and so once again, just really, really glad that they could be here with us this morning. So we're going to turn to Georgie. Georgie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And again, thank you all for the invite. It's such a great pleasure to be here with you all. Again, I'm Georgie Howie, the founder and owner of AC Adams Construction. We're a general contractor based in Washington, D.C., where we are the developer's favorite GC partner. We partner with developers to build affordable housing throughout the district. We also provide construction management and facilities management. And we just look forward to continuing serving in Nabwic and across the country. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much again for being here and being one of our special guests. And now we have Dr. E, who's going to tell us a little bit more about herself. And it was already referenced that Dr. E actually received a nice recognition down in DC when we were there. She is actually Nabwic's DBC Woman of the Year, and we want to congratulate her. But Dr. E, go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, and I really am truly grateful for the recognition. It meant a lot. I almost shed a tear because I was so touched by the recognition. My name is Egose Ignova, also known and better known as Dr. E, and I am the CEO of Evolution Training and Management Solutions, a project management consulting firm that serves government agencies and organizations that have STEAM workforce development or training objectives. So STEAM, of course, stands for science, technology, engineering, and then the A is for art and mathematics. So that's how I came to be affiliated with Nabwic, because two of my focus areas are construction and tech. And so my business uses agile project management methodologies to provide customized, needs-based, and forward-thinking strategies, as well as data-driven solutions for program implementation. I actually serve as well as the chair of the education committee for Nabwic, and I also assist in that capacity with the South Florida chapter.
Well, great. Again, as Zakia mentioned, you all are rock stars. And I have to mention, too, for those of you that are listening, these women are all entrepreneurs. These are all women in construction. These are all women that sign on the front of the check. And so not only are they building successful organizations, they are here today as they have been in years past, helping to build and shape the Nabwic organization. So just to give you a little bit of context, I want to thank everybody for introducing themselves, but to give our listeners a little bit of context, we were in Washington, D.C. for 3 or 4 full days, September 13th through the 15th. And during that time, not only did we hold our strategic planning meeting, we held an inaugural VIP reception, as well as our signature reception that we do each year at the City Club in Washington, D.C. We actually attended and participated in meetings down at the convention center, as well as had private meetings with state agencies. So we had a lot going on. And so our guests today are just going to help us relive and just regurgitate some of the impact and the achievements that we were able to accomplish during those 3 days that we were there. So I'm just going to dive right in. And our first question is actually going to be to our president, Tylee Henry. Tylee, we're going to start off with the strategic planning meeting, because that was the first thing that we did. I know, along with your board member meeting that you had on that Wednesday. But can you share with our listening audience primary goals that you had this year for the strategic planning meeting?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question, Jeff. One of the things every time that we have a national meeting is always build connections and relationships. So we are a national organization. We're located in various places all over the country. And so number one is for us to be able to build our relationships with one another and be able to fellowship. That's the component, because that is what maintains the harmonious and supportive atmosphere in which we serve that's been established by Ms. Anderson. And a very, very close second is having an opportunity to view where are we at with our strategic planning goals. So we have a strategic plan that really goes out 20 years, and in the strategic planning meeting, we are looking at the goals that we have established for ourselves and how are we tracking towards those goals and what are some of the things that we are doing that are like catalysts that are supporting the accomplishment and achievement of those goals, and what are some areas that we can focus on that can support us with improving our efficiency and connectivity with our members as well as the community and specific industries in which our businesses serve. And so, in addition to reviewing the strategic plan, it's really looking at how can we take some of those things that are working really, really well and make sure that across the entire organization, because again, we are national, we have a method in which we can not only implement those processes and procedures and document them, but as well to be able to measure. And so I would say that this was an incredibly productive meeting and that we had the opportunity to work shoulder to shoulder, not just via Zoom or the telephone. The group, what we focused on this year was sponsorship, membership, and then we also had an opportunity to circle in on marketing because we have a lot of amazing things that are going on with this organization and have made a lot of progress. But sometimes it's making sure that we have those cascading messages and that that information gets out to all of our members. And so I feel that we definitely accomplished our goal of being really clear about where we want to focus our energy throughout the end of the year, and then as well setting the goals that we have for 2025.
Well, thank you, Kelly, for sharing that. It's so important for organizations to really be clear about the goals so that everybody can get behind them, follow, and fulfill them. And as you mentioned, sponsorship, membership, marketing were some of the key focuses for the meeting on Wednesday. But let me ask this next question of Georgie. Now, Georgie, I understand that you had a very key role as chairperson for the strategic planning meeting, kind of helping the plan execute and bring all of this together. Share your thoughts about the strategic planning meeting and how you think everything went. Do you think we actually got a little closer to achieving or moving towards our Nabwic mission?
Yes, Jackie, thank you for that. And I think, Madam President, definitely addressed the key points. Everyone is always excited to come to actually see each other in person. We conduct a lot of our business via Zoom, but to actually be face to face creates more connection and more focus to really get in as close to the goals that we have. I couldn't have not done this without my co-chair for the strategic planning meeting, which was a member. She's a member out of Florida, which is Ms. Margaret Bashland. She was instrumental in coordinating and supporting and coordinating the meeting, ensuring that everyone was there on time, and making sure that the agenda for the meeting was properly presented. So I definitely want to give her a shout out. And so the planning, we feel like the planning, we do consider in terms of the Nabwic vision to advocate for Black women in construction and to create the strategic environment. And we felt like we fulfilled that mission with creating a strategic environment for everyone to understand the mission and goal of Nabwic. To also be very clear about the work that we're needing to do in the areas that Madam President mentioned, which is membership, event or marketing, sponsorship, and I believe she said membership. It gave us insight in a way that we typically don't get on the call. And we really left with a lot of energy and focus to say, this is the responsibility as a member that I'm going to take on and hone it on for improving these metrics. These are the things that I plan to focus on myself to help, again, Nabwic better their mission and their goals. So I could have been more satisfied with what has happened. And again, I couldn't have done it by myself. And push for us to create co-chairs, and we did. And as a result, we've had a very successful strategic meeting.
Indeed, we did. And thank you once again, you, Margaret, and all of the team that made that happen. So, Dr. E, I know that you are really, really instrumental as the education chair in bringing educational resources to the Nabwic organization, and they have been really impactful in helping shape who we are, bringing professional development, to our organization. But tell me, what do you think about, the strategic meeting two? How do you think some of the outcomes will help shape Nabwic's next steps moving forward?
Yeah, so, we, I want to reference also the board meeting that happened right before the strategic meeting. And the focus, in that meeting was planning ahead as well as financial management, but definitely the planning ahead portion, and being very mindful and strategic in the planning ahead. So we spent a lot of time, planning for locations, for our meetings all the way up through the middle of 2027. So that was great. And in keeping with that mantra that if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I am excited about, the vision going forward and having structure going forward that will allow us to stay ready and not, be, not always on the heels of getting ready. And then I was able to, during the strategic meeting, to sit with the group, the breakout session that focused on membership. And what I liked about what we talked about in that group, there are a lot of focus on member engagement. And I think that's a topic that many organizations are facing. When you have a great mission and vision, it's not hard to get the members, but sometimes there is difficulty in keeping the members engaged. And so, of course, education is a portion of that. And the education committee has done a great job of getting education opportunities for Nabwic and making sure that they are memorialized on YouTube so that they can be accessible. And if you missed the live portion, you can always go back and look at a recap and so forth. So we're able to use that platform to engage members. But member engagement, that was one of the main focuses of the group that I sat in on with the strategic planning meeting. And I think that that's a great focus area because we want to make sure that our members have return on investment. Not just financial, because of course it's a cost to be a member of Nabwic, but also a return on investment of their time. And so looking forward to now the next step. So we did a discussion. We looked at the areas of membership. We've looked at the areas of sponsorship and marketing. And I think we're going to down the line make sure that we also cover events in that way. And then the next step is to actually now address synergy. So we addressed the concerns in silos, but now the next step, as we go forward, probably a few months down the line, is to address synergy and the cause and effect. How marketing's action plan affects education? How does education's strategic plan affect sponsorship and so forth, and how we can actually create more synergy and get more impact as we go forward by ensuring that we all understand the cause and effect patterns and how we can work together to help each other achieve the goals that we created in the silo.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it is important, those linkages. So I'm glad that we have the discernment and foresight to see how those need to work together and that we'll be examining those in unison. Thank you so much. And you also mentioned something that was very important too. You said it on the membership. And so I would be remiss if I didn't remind our listeners that you can become a Nabwic member too, as you're listening to these powerful women talk about Nabwic and what we are achieving. There's even more to come, but you can head over to our website, nabwic.org. Get the results of member certification now. Stay tuned with us. You're going to hear other fabulous things right after this commercial that will make you want to join the Nabwic organization. We're talking with Georgie Howie, Dr. E. and President Tommy Henry about our strategic planning meeting and other events that happened in DC on last week. We'll be right back after this promotion.
We are so excited to have you listening to NABWIC, the National Association of Black Women in Construction Blog Talk Radio Show. Please call, text, or email family, business associates, or friends and tell them that we are on the air right now. Or they can join us on the internet by logging in to www.blogtalkradio.com/NABWIC. Or by phone at 714-459-3918 and press 1 to join our conversation with questions or comments. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Don't forget to follow us by liking our page and post your questions or comments. NABWIC's intent is to always go into the high schools and colleges to encourage our young Black girls and women to enter into the construction industry and to take interest into the STEM programs that are offered. We encourage you to listen to this show or past shows on the internet by logging in at www.blogtalkradio.com/NABWIC. Thank you, and we're back.
Yes, we are back, and we are talking with three powerful guests, Georgie Howie, Dr. E, and Tommy Henry. We've been talking about our Nabwic strategic meeting, but there's so many other things to talk about, and so we're just gonna maybe just speed it up just a little bit. But we've been talking about a strategic meeting before. Now we're going to talk about some other elements of our visit. Nabwic also had our first ever inaugural Legislator of the Year Award, which was introduced during a VIP reception. And we had our main reception. We're going to talk about that too, because it boasted over 4,000 attendees. This was a truly great event. But let's talk about an inaugural award that was presented on behalf of Congressman Hank Johnson. And I'm going to ask President Tommy Henry if you could tell us about the significance of that award and why we decided to do that this year.
Oh, absolutely. So I know that on the line, we know that we understand that if we're not engaged in politics, then we're not in business. And so on a national level, we encourage our members to be engaged in their local politics and be aware of the legislative actions that impact their businesses as well as their communities. And so for several years, we've been building relationships with our elected officials. And this year, our illustrious Nabwic Atlanta chapter president, Monique Strong, along with our legislative committee, had quite a bit of meaningful engagement with Congressman Hank Johnson. And they came up with the recommendation that we should have a Legislator of the Year award. And this is how this came about. And, you know, it was very important to them to make sure, because Congressman Hank Johnson is their elected official, it was very important to them that they were able to celebrate his willingness to engage with them and to keep them informed on the legislative actions that were impacting their community, to acknowledge his advocacy for economic and educational opportunities. He's been a strong proponent of policies aimed at closing the racial and gender wage gap, advocating for equal pay and job opportunities for Black women. He supported legislation that improves access to education, business funding, workforce development, which directly benefits Black women, entrepreneurs, and professionals. And then we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that he is a champion for healthcare and maternal health. He's advocated for improving access to quality health care and addressing health disparities, particularly maternal health for Black women. And so we just truly appreciate his efforts, and we want to elevate and make sure that we recognize and celebrate the great work that he's doing. And so that is how we came to have our inaugural Legislator of the Year award.
Well, great. Thank you for sharing that. And that was a very important award. And I assume that if this was in so we'll be at some but it's just that we could not have a better fun page, child workforce development, healthcare, all of those things. So, again, looking forward to next year and seeing who we recognize and highlight. Wonderful, wonderful. So, not only do we have
One thing that I did not mention is we did have a VIP reception, and we want to thank our sponsors, Pat and Procore, our title sponsors for the event. The state gave an opportunity for our elected officials that attended to connect, as well as our corporate members. So many of our members had the opportunity to connect with our legislative officials, as well as our some of our title sponsors and other dignitaries that attended the event. So again, we want to thank Hatch and Procore for their title sponsorship, and we want to thank them for building a relationship with the National Organization of Black Women, National Association of Black Women in Construction. So not just sending dollars, but building relationships and collaborating so that we can make sure that we are creating a more equitable environment for Black women in construction in the communities that they serve.
well, thank you, Talib. We definitely want to thank Congressman Hank Johnson again for all of his achievements. But yes, our sponsors, we could not have had better sponsors this year, Hatch and Procore, as she mentioned. And we want to encourage you to, check out our social media, check out our website. You'll see those sponsors highlighted on our homepage, but check out their website. Find out what they're about and find out how you can perhaps build a relationship or connection with them as well. They have been very supportive, and we again say thank you to all of their help, their donations, their contributions. Speaking of Hatch and Procore, not only did they have a role in sponsoring that VIP reception, but as I mentioned, Nabwic has a signature event that occurs each year at the City Club of Washington, D.C., and they were responsible for sponsoring that as well. I mentioned before that we had well over 4,000 attendees registered for that particular event. And if you've never been to one, I have a hard time describing it. You just have to be there in person. And actually, I'm going to ask Dr. E and anybody actually can on what that was like. I know the atmosphere was electric, people building connections, relations, etc. But I'm not going to talk about it. I'll let you all talk about it. What do you think, Dr. E? What was that like for you? You were our, again, member of the year. What was it like seeing all those people there that night?
Well, it was like you said, the room was electrifying. It's always wonderful when we come together to see a sea of red and melanin in the room. We definitely look wonderful in our red, and it was awesome to have the turnout. The turnout was amazing. We had lots of people to come, some who already knew about Nabwic and some who were ready to learn more, and definitely everyone eager to engage. I had several people to come up to me wanting to provide education to members. It was just a really wonderful experience. My first one was the year before last, and the impact is so that I've been back every year since. So that's to tell you something that a lot of people that were there were repeat attendees, but then we also had new folks that were eager to learn about and to support Nabwic, and were equally as excited about being in the room.
Yeah, it was great. And Georgia, were there any particular memorable events or feedback from attendees that stood out for you?
I just remember everyone being very enthused, and excited to be in the room. There were people that they were looking for and that they just waiting to see. For years that they've heard about, women in construction, all of the leaders that we possess in Nabwic. And, even people that, for me, it's like, I'm in DC, I feel like everyone knows everyone, but to have people that actually come up and say, I've been looking for you, or I've been waiting to meet you, was definitely, moving. And I think that was the energy throughout, that people were actually really looking to connect, on a deeper level and not just surface level. And so I felt like that resonated throughout the entire room. People were super interested, and they were interested in supporting Nabwic. They were interested in growing the messaging around Nabwic, so other people knew about Nabwic. And people really showed up and showed out. Everyone looked amazing and beautiful. People, the dress and attire, everyone definitely showed out. And it was a great example of Black excellence, and what's coming together. So it was a monumental experience, and I'm definitely appreciative to be able to take the leadership in planning and executing.
Well, once again, you did a fantastic job, you and the team, and it is an opportunity where people build those connections, those relations. Sometimes it results in people just getting contracts right there on the spot, collaborations that work out for a win-win for both parties. And I know I have witnessed that as well. So it was really great to see the crowd and the energy and people just connecting, which is what it's all about. And so for those of you, again, I keep saying go over to the Nabwic website, but also if you registered for that event, you should be receiving shortly a thank you from the Nabwic organization. It's gonna help you relive some of that. You're gonna see pictures. We've had sponsors. We mentioned our title sponsors, Procore and Hatch, but we had other sponsors for that event. They're listed in our CBC program booklet. We'll be sharing that with you so you can take a look at those people who are supporters of not only the Nabwic organization, but Black businesses and Black women in construction. So be on the lookout for that. It was a great time, and we can talk all day about that. But let's move on.
And
Before I do,
Jackie, can I just add one more thing? The other additional sponsors we had were Deal with Your Faith. The other thing I wanted to definitely bring to the forefront is that we couldn't have done this without the actual member volunteers. They show up as early as I do. We have a courageous leader under our event, Carrie Williams. She is exceptional when it comes to planning and coordinating the back end details. We have the co-chairs, the several co-chairs that I have for the event, for the reception, Monique Strong and Diane Adomo, and then Ms. Sharon Hidalgo were, again, exceptional leaders and co-chairs to executing the vision of the VIP reception. And we couldn't have not put all this together without the support. And everyone who showed up early, stayed late to really tackle things, to clear things away. We are definitely appreciative. We look forward to everyone seeing the CBC reception booklet. We put a lot of work in there. Lots of things with Bree Patterson and Ms. Jackie Berry coordinated the efforts for the update of the book. And we hope people really take the time to look at the book. It has a lot of great information there, not only about our sponsors, but about Nabwic, the legislative platform, and about the companies that we're working with each and every day. So thank you.
no, thank you for mentioning that. And I just have to echo that too. When you get that program booklet, please do look at it, because in addition to the website, if you really want to understand what Nabwic is all about and what it represents, just look at it, look at its partners, look at its sponsors, look at the members, the chapters that are listed, and you will have a vivid idea of what we're all about, and I know that you're not gonna be able to resist joining the organization. So thank you very, very much. I know that we are getting down to the end of the hour, and so let me also add, we're not done. I mean, like I said, we did so much during those 3 days, but let's talk about during that year, we always synchronize our strategic meeting to coincide with the Congressional Black Caucus because we know, again, it's an opportunity for us to advocate and support. And so not only did we have fun, we had the strategic meeting, but we also had an opportunity to attend events and seminars at the convention center. We had opportunities to meet with some of our top heads at the state agencies. So let's just talk about that before we go. And also, I want to mention that if you're listening or if you dialed in, if you have a question or you want to make a comment, if you press pound and 1 on your telephone, we'll see you and we'll bring you into the studio so you can join us as well. So the convention center, so Tommy, the seminars held at the DC Convention Center were filled with valuable content. Can you tell us about some of the sessions that the women of Nabwic attended and which ones you think might have had the most impact on the Nabwic members?
Absolutely. So, one of our traditions each year is that we have breakfast together on Thursday morning. We did like 7 a.m. for breakfast. And then we walk over in our red Nabwic shirt to the convention center as a group. And we attend the town hall session. And so this year's town hall session was focused on pathways to prosperity, advancing democracy and Black economic opportunity, which is very much so in alignment with our vision and vision. And so that was significant in that there was a tie-in of, not only the importance of Black businesses, but also a share of information regarding, ongoing housing discrimination and discriminatory lending and hiring practices, tax policies, and the criminal legal system. Looking at the importance of protecting our rights when it comes to voting and participating in our democracy. And so this was incredibly important because there was like a call to action for us to be engaged and make sure that we understand that this discriminatory behavior, the systemic discrimination, is not only negatively impacting us as Black Americans and as women, it is impacting our national, the racial wealth gap is actually contributing to our GDP. So basically, if we could close the racial wealth gap, we would increase our U.S. GDP. So we're not reaching our capacity and our potential as a nation as a result of these discriminatory practices. And so we had an opportunity to learn more about these ongoing barriers and how they are continuing to evolve with time and technology. And there was discussion around the advancement of equality and how we can move forward together. And there was definitely, a call to action for policymakers and business leaders to collaborate in creating a more just and prosperous society. And so that was incredible. It was a moment that we were able to share together as a membership, sisterhood and brotherhood. So we got brothers that are members of Nabwic as well. But it was phenomenal and very much so impactful in the way to kick off the day. And then the other section for me that was very notable was on economic opportunity. And so in this session was JP Morgan Chase that was kind of hosting it. It was called Mobilizing Cross-Sector Support for Diverse-Owned Small Businesses to Drive Economic Growth. And basically it talked about the importance of collaboration and that Black business ownership is growing at the fastest pace that it has in the past 30 years. And Black households owning a businesses have doubled from
from 5% to 11% between 2019 and 2022. And it just talked, it was, there were several Black women that owned businesses that were sitting on the panel. And it talked about this importance of being able to increase our economic advancement and opportunity by identifying opportunities to collaborate with one another to go on after larger opportunities. And so it's very exciting. I personally took action and have reached out to another Nabwic member and have an appointment on the books today to discuss opportunities to collaborate and to see how we can go after larger opportunities and support one another. Because of course, when our businesses grow, that means that we can employ more people, that we have more impact legislatively by being able to support the elected officials that are championing the policy and legislation to support our businesses. And so it was phenomenal. And then hopefully, I think that some of us had an opportunity to attend the transportation brain trust. I missed that, but typically each year we go to that as well. But it was just incredible energy and atmosphere, and I got fired up and excited to continue to engage, continue to advocate, and continue to represent Black women in the fashion that we do.
Wow, thank you. And so you can see by listening to those comments just how key it is to attend those sessions down at the convention center whenever we go. I know I always get a lot out of it. And before we move to our next question, I just wanted to ask Dr. E or Georgie if they have anything they wanted to share or visit to the DC Convention Center.
I'll share that I love the theme for the overall Congressional Black Caucus this year, the annual legislative conference. It was from vision to victory, amplifying Black voices. I'll say again, from vision to victory. I love that because it speaks to the fact that the vision is already in place. We are already our ancestors' wildest dreams, but now we can keep going to actual victory, and that's what and that sort of is what is the what was the premise and the basis and foundation even of us having a strategic meeting and coming to DC is that road mapping to actual victory. We've got the vision, but we need to get to the victory. Also, we just know that there's a special reason that many are fired up this year. Nabwic is a nonpartisan organization, so I'm not calling any names, but individual members don't have to be nonpartisan. And I think that we're all fired up in seeing how when we don't engage in politics, what can happen. We've learned that lesson. And so now we know that we have to continue to advocate for policies that are favorable to us. And I see, like President Conley said, that the fire is ignited. And no matter what, we will continue to advocate for policies that close the racial wealth gap and prepare the next generation to continue to move forward and not to lose the progress that's been made by over the centuries by our ancestors and those that came before us. So we want to keep moving the torch forward from vision to victory. I love that theme from this year. Thanks.
Georgie, how do you feel? What stood out to you as we, cascaded the halls of the convention center in DC? Any particular speakers or topics that moved you?
Well, I would say that I was quite busy with the coordination of everything, so I didn't get to get too involved with the conferences. I really enjoyed that. Actually, I was able to go to the exhibitors hall and to meet the people and to learn learn just more about what people were doing both locally and nationwide. And that's really all I had the time for, unfortunately. So I wasn't able to listen. And I do know that some of our members were also on panels, so I was able to see a brief summary of some of those panels that I remember was on. And so
Hey,
that-
did you get a chance to look up the schedule for me? Can you text it to me? Because I'm on 3 lines with the, oh, sorry,
so that I can
sorry.
get more engaged. That
Mm-mm.
was all I was able to see.
Well, excellent, and we appreciate
So that
your leadership. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Jones.
No, I just want to say that is so great, because you know what they say, if you're not in politics, you're not in business, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we are getting down to the bottom of the hour, but I want to introduce one of our other hosts, Ms. Odija Williams, who has a few questions as well. So, Ms. Odija, how are you today?
Good morning, great morning. Can you hear me?
We hear you fine.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. I am doing great today, and this has been an amazing Nabwic talk show. Always great to talk to our members and hear your experience. We absolutely, of course, love going to Congressional Black Caucus. Everyone did an amazing job, and it was so great to see everyone and just see and just be around the energy. So I've been enjoying listening to the show this morning, and I appreciate you guys so much. So I do have some questions. I've been listening. I had a couple of questions, and I wanted to talk to all of you about your thoughts, and if you could just share with us a little bit about the meeting that we were able to take with the Department of Commerce, because like Jackie just said before, if you're not in politics, you're not in business, and so being able to go over to the Department of Commerce for the United States, what is that like, and what are some of the action steps that we have going forward with that aspect? Let's start with some of these.
Well, what I'll do is I'm gonna share that historically, this is the power of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. Just about every year, we identify an agency that we hold a meeting with, and we have the opportunity to identify how their program, how we can support their program, and how and only the programs that align with our mission and vision and advocacy. And so it was just phenomenal that our very own South Florida Vice President and Cindy Bennett was able to coordinate a meeting with the Department of Commerce. And we're just so very appreciative of the opportunity to not only learn more about the programs that they have that are specifically in alignment and in support of the work that we are doing as far as our mission and vision is concerned, but we're also very excited to seek opportunities to formally engage. And so I really want to provide Georgie an opportunity to share a bit more. I really want to share our historical engagement with these departments. So in the past, I think the year before last, we met with sitting Secretary of Transportation, Project. We had the opportunity to speak with the leadership of the Federal Aviation Department. We had the opportunity to connect with, I believe it's who does the when there's a disaster at FEMA. We met with FEMA, and some of our members provide disaster recovery services as well as management services. And so this is the power of Nabwic. If you're thinking of joining this organization, stop thinking about it because these are the relationships that are created to change. And we just want to make sure that we can spread the love and opportunity. So, Georgie, I want to kick it over to you. Just share a little bit more about those areas in which we align with the NBDA and how we like to move forward.
Excuse me, and I just wanted to, before you share, just wanted to also just bring to the listener's attention that as an advocacy organization, we are initiating, if you will, relationships with every legal agency within the federal government. So we have members who are actively involved in those agencies. And even though we're sharing about MPA, we also have the FDA, we also have, FDOT, we also have the Department of Energy, and, lots of other agencies that we're developing strategic partnerships, relationships with. So I just wanted to just share that because I just didn't want to necessarily, if you will, put the carpet on the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ann, for that. In terms of the things that were addressed, I think to understand, I think the alignment that we have with NPA specifically, one of their focuses is on empowering minority businesses. And they're hoping to do that by their commitment to foster growth for American minority business enterprises. So aligned with what Nabwic is doing, there was a great intersection in terms of the dialogue to discuss some of the issues that the NPA wants to support. Some of the problems that they've identified is understanding how we as minority businesses have a lack of access to capital, how we have difficulty assessing and winning actual contracts as a prize, and also lack the access to the market. And so at that point, we are definitely in line and empowering our membership to really address those areas, to really facilitate the change, not only the membership, but on those who are in the industry who can definitely benefit from those benefits. But that we can also work out their solution. So our partnership is more about collecting impact. Specifically brought up the initiative that they have from DOC about the million women in construction jobs. Specifically spoke and discussed about enterprising women of color. Like what really facilitate that, how that was important for the international. And I think we walked away from key areas to be support of one another, and definitely be strategic about what it looks like to really make a change, to make an impact, any type of change. There was a key point brought up about the change in necessity to change the intergenerational wealth, and how to improve that and expand that, and how Black women are at the forefront of changing what that looks like for America. So we want to continue to grow that. We want to continue to create access to different experiences. And we want to continue to grow the capacity within not only our membership, but for other ones that are in the industry. And we want to be the leaders in doing that. So those are some key takeaways that I took from the meeting and the discussions that we had.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And while we're going to wrap up, since we're right at the hour, and again, thank you all for being on today. But I want to make sure I ask Dr. E this question, because we do have people who want to join and want to get involved in what we're doing. So Dr. E, can you tell us what you have planned? What are some of the education events that are coming up that people can take part of with us?
Yeah, so we are excited about the next couple of months. We're going to be presenting on financial tips for the sandwich generation. A lot of us are now in that sandwich generation as Gen X and even millennials are starting to have to take care of minor children, or maybe even children who still need support, adult children that are young, but then also having to care for aging parents. And so the sandwich generation, how to actually manage your finances and alleviate some of the stress that can come with that. We're looking at that in the next few weeks. We're also going to be looking at how to navigate SAM.gov. So we know that government contracting is a wonderful opportunity to diversify income sources for any business. So we will be looking at how to navigate SAM.gov, and then how to take it a step further and actually request capabilities briefing so that you can get your and then we also, and I'm giving out President Eileen Henry today about this, she doesn't know, but she's gonna be, I guess, eager to talk about networking with us. And just this past, yesterday actually covered, key person insurance. A great way to make sure that your business can survive in the event of an unexpected illness, death of a key person in the business. So we have lots of topics coming up and they are always available on YouTube. So make sure to like and subscribe to the Nabwic YouTube channel so that you can keep up with the opportunities if you're unable to register and attend the live session.
Wow, those are some very critical topics, and I definitely will be tuning in. And as Dr. E said, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and all our social media. So we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, we're on Instagram and YouTube. So please look up Nabwic, NABWIC, or the National Association of Black Women in Construction, and make sure to follow us on social media so that you'll know what's going on. And if you want to be a member, which we hope you do, you can go to nabwic.org and click on membership. We love to have you. We've been talking today with three powerful leaders in Nabwic. We have Georgie Howie, who is the chair and also is in area doing great things. We have our president, Ms. Frank Henry, who we just love and is always building this new type, and Dr. E, who has transformed the education community by bringing us a powerful sessions that we all can learn from, even if you're not in the professional industry. But this has been an amazing Nabwic talk. Thank you all for joining us. Come back on next Wednesday, because we're here every Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. sharp Eastern Time, and join us for Nabwic Talk. Thank you so much. I'm one of your co-hosts, Ms. Otisha Williams, and we had Jackie and Kia on earlier. Have a great